Hello, humans of the internet. Welcome to this level 15 interview with Krisi, who plays Naia. So Naia will be hitting level 15 when we do the Demon's Bathhouse. By the time this airs, we will know whether Naia has hit level 15 or whether Naia is dead. One of those two things will be true.
Well, hopefully she'll be level 15.
So far, I haven't killed anyone, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Someone has to be first, right?
Yes.
I feel like Naia would be hard to kill.
She has made it her mission to keep everybody else alive, but I don't know that there's anybody who could bring her back.
Keeping her alive, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am just going to ask you a few questions about you and Naia and how this whole experience has been for you. I guess starting off, maybe we could talk a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons and how you came to Dungeons and Dragons and what it means to you and why you play this ridiculous game.
So I had never played until about 2 years ago, year and a half to 2 years ago. We have friends, and the wife and the family would be like, "Oh, I have to go meet my friends for Dungeons and Dragons," and I was like, "That sounds really weird." And then she never seemed like she wanted to do it, but she wanted to see her friends. And Jeremy had played when he was young, and so knowing that Rachel was interested and our friend Sean wanted to do the DMing, we decided to try a game. And then I was like, well, this isn't weird. It's freaking cool. And
it can be both.
Yeah. And it was fun. I would say creatively, when you don't really know what you're doing and you're only playing in a party of 3 people, it can be hard to like come up with clever ideas and things like that. And around the time Jeremy had started watching Critical Role, and it was during campaign 2, and I would just hear little bits of it. I'm like, what is this? This sounds really weird. And then like I started watching it, and then I was like, this isn't weird at all. And then I fell in love with Caduceus. And then I saw, Jax, you had shared on like the Crafty Critters Facebook maybe or something like that about trying this, and we had wrapped up our campaign with our friends, and I think they were a little bit burned out on it. And so we were ready to play still more because we were like actually knew what we were doing by that time.
Yeah.
And so we took the plunge and signed up. And so I would say in terms of like actually feeling more confident in playing, it really started with playing with the Horde, just because you could actually like level up your character as opposed to always being like at level 3 for like a bazillion years, which is really boring.
Yeah, so. It is very quick. Like the Horde, I guess the process is quite rapid, just because of the format. So I guess my next question was about that. The Horde, the way it's structured is very different to a standard Dungeons and Dragons campaign, because it's essentially a series of one-shots in this big frame story. And the concept behind that was because the biggest problem D&D always has is scheduling, right? Like getting everybody together on a regular basis. So this was like, this allows people to step in and out as frequently as they wish. They can choose their level of involvement, and it makes it easy on everyone. So what has that been like for you, it being so different to a normal campaign?
I would say the biggest difference is I had no idea what Discord was until May of this year.
I think you've grasped it now.
Yes. So we signed up for that, and then like the Twitch thing, we only knew what it was because they mentioned it on Critical Role. And then logistically, when we found out that these things were going to be streaming, I didn't know what that meant, and then we almost didn't do it because we were afraid. And then the first game, we weren't in it, so we just watched it, and everybody seemed nice, and we were like, okay, well, maybe we can do this. And then we just kind of hit the ground running from there. So it's been
so
fun.
Glad you didn't leave because you were scared of streaming. I feel like the Horde would not have been the same without you.
Yeah, and then even signing up, I almost just because I thought we had to like make a decision like right stat now. And so the first character I had submitted was my wizard from that one game that we had played, which she would have been fine, but I had really wanted to play a firbolg, and I noticed that there was no cleric, since I asked Jax if I could switch out my wizard for Naia. And I'm super glad that I did, because I don't think that my wizard would have been nearly as fun to play. And I think she just would have been like my spastic student self, and that's just not really escaping at all.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so it's been fun, the one shots, and then we had like this little dry spell because we were in so many games in the beginning, and then everybody else needed time to play, and then the chat thing got cool, and Naia's had some really neat moments when she did her first commune spell. That was really awesome and touching, and so having the written thing too, because I don't think Naia would be as cool as I hope she is if it was just me talking. So she's
I
much
don't know.
cooler, and she would be a lot more socially awkward, I think. So, so having the option to do the chat thing has made it really neat too.
I think that it's been, because that was never part of my original plan. It just kind of organically happened. And it's been really cool because it's turned, it's really kind of gelled the whole group in a way that I don't think would have happened just with the one shots. So it's cool. Let's talk about Naia.
Yeah.
So
I have
Naia,
her here. Her little mini is here, so she's with us.
Naia has become very central to a lot of things in this story. She buffs every mission before they go out. She takes care of everyone. How does she feel about this being the Horde's mom? Because that is pretty much what's happened. Is Naia's everybody's favorite mama firbolg. They call you Mama Naia.
Yeah. I think she's probably a bit baffled by it. She's just kind of instinctively doing what she has always done, but she's lived alone for a long time in the woods. So I would imagine it's probably a little bit of a drag having to like show up for everybody all the time as opposed to just like relaxing. But instinctively I think she's just acts just who she is. I mean, I'm hopeful that she represents my compassion and love and my medicine and things like that. So I don't think that where she is very different from where if she was a real person would want to be.
Yeah. It's I know you keep saying that Naia is much cooler than you, but I'm not convinced that that is true. I think you are just as cool as she is.
Well, thanks.
So Naia was also at the center of the Horde's very first romance.
Okay, we're getting right there.
Yeah. You didn't think you were escaping this one.
Yeah, she was.
What? That wasn't really. That just kind of happened, right?
Yep.
So what is that like? I guess for her as a character, because it's a very new and different thing for Naia. She's been alone most of her life, apart from Helga. We'll get to Helga too. But and then this thing happened in her life. So what is that like for her?
Well, it's hard to answer as her and not me, but like, so this person arrived at the Horde, and Naia's pretty friendly and greets new people, and there's a little bit of crisis between her and her friend Z, and a lot of questions about what's going on with the lady and safety and things like this. And this person just arrived who is about her height, which is unusual for her because she's usually like the giant in the room. And just seems to be a really genuinely good hearted, kind person, a very good foil, I think, to her. And so I think it just kind of happened. Like me as a player, I always thought like romance in D&D was kind of silly. When obviously in our first game with our friends, nothing like that ever happened. And then watching Critical Role, like, Ford and Jester seemed rather pushed and forced to me. Bo and Yasha also kind of forced to me, although I liked it at the end. Like it seemed like they were well suited. Honestly, it was Caleb and Essek. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like that's how something kind of could organically enhance a story as opposed to just be something like for audience excitement or something like that. And as we were going through this big drama, Jeremy and I were off for the week and ended up didn't want to travel because of the plague, and so ended up being on the Discord a lot. And I was like, I don't know, I think Naia could dig this person, and it just seemed to kind of happen. So
you haven't watched much of campaign 1, I assume.
No, I haven't had a hard time. We're
Okay.
still stuck in the elf city when they're trying to
Right.
get, I'm guessing, Vex's bow. So,
Okay. Because I feel like the Vax Keyleth thing felt a lot more organic than any of the
yeah,
campaign 2
yeah,
remnants did. And even actually both of them, because the Vexalia Percy one did too. It also felt
yeah,
like it just happened organically.
yeah,
Um, it's kind of neat though, because I feel like you opened a floodgate a little bit.
yeah, yeah, we did.
Because we now have several others.
Yes.
It's also interesting because Artur hasn't been on a single mission yet.
Nope.
Like he's signed up for a couple and they're coming up, but Mike, we haven't even seen him in a Horde
Right.
stream. He plays in Tori's game, but he hasn't been like Artur. We haven't met as an audience outside of the Discord. So it's really interesting that he has already got such a central role within the Horde, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think probably a testament to Mike's role play in that space.
Yes. Yes. It's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, if it was in person, like face to face, like never would have happened.
Probably be weird, yeah.
Yeah, but through the chat and stuff like that, I feel like it's happened quite nicely and organically, and I'm glad for Naia. I mean, she's 200 years old. It's time. I mean, give her a break, right? Like,
it's kind of lovely. It's a really sweet romance. Like it's really wholesome.
Yeah. Well, I think they make each other braver and better.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Never thought that would happen, but yeah.
No, but I think that's the best way. Is like when it just happens, right? As in life, so in art. Helga has also been a really interesting thing because when you started, Helga was just this badger you had.
Yes, and I only had I was gonna say I only had a badger because I thought it looked cool on my Hero Forge. That's the only reason. Because all of my people get animals just because of me, and so Helga really was just a prop, and then Wasim hates badgers, and then I never wanted to mention that I had a pet badger, because I didn't want to create drama. Yeah, so that's been kind of interesting.
But now she's a whole character in herself, which is what's that like for you as a player?
It's super satisfying. I mean, I thought when Naia got her enchanted flask of Earl Grey tea, like Knott's flask, like that was going to be like where she peaked, right? That she had this never-ending tea flask, and then finally she revealed Helga, and we tried to work out with Helga as a regular badger to not cause drama and problems for Wasim. And then Z was like, "Hey, I can awaken your badger," and I was like, I never thought that could be a thing, and then she did it. And then now Helga's a cleric and going on a mission, and that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That whole thing, just my heart just was a melty, mushy pile of poop.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been super satisfying and fun.
So what is Naia's, I guess, what does she try? How do I ask this question? I guess to start with, why did she join the Horde to start off with? Like, what was her goal in that? And then now, because a lot has happened, has that changed? And what is she hoping to get out of this experience before she leaves or before she completes her contract?
Right. So her story started, she lived with her firbolg people, and then she went off and lived with dwarves and learned how to be a jeweler. And then she was called to go guard a herd of unicorns, and a tiefling killed one of the unicorns. And that's when she became a cleric, because she was charged to go try and hunt this person down and hopefully restore them from the possession, because I just made up that this tiefling was possessed by a demon, and she's supposed to save them, not kill them. But if she can't save them, then she has to kill them, because killing a unicorn is a terrible thing. And so anyway, Jeremy and I, when we were trying to figure out, well, why would she be traveling with Jobin? It was just that, they kind of encountered each other on the road and found that there was safety in numbers, and then probably ran out of money at some point on their journeys and join this to try and get back in the green and be able to go off, and so she could do her mission again. And then now her life is very different. So
a lot has happened to Naia.
Yeah, I keep looking down at her, like trying to channel what she would want me to say. I mean, now I think she's really just ingrained. She's afraid of the lady, but also supportive of her. I think she's very dubious about what the end game will be, and that she will do everything that she can to keep all the Horde members alive through this. So I think her loyalty is more towards her comrades than the lady, but I think she's also seen that there has been change in the kinds of missions that are happening, and maybe a bit more compassion versus selfishness from the lady. So I think that she would probably stand as an ally to her, but really she wants nobody to get hurt or to die. Is her biggest motivation. I think it came out, Sarah, the Awakened Triceratops, she had gotten into her first fight with Helga, and it was because Sarah was talking about Naia and how she acts kind of without thinking, and she's impulsive and worries too much and stuff like that. And then it kind of came out, and Helga's response to that, how deeply having one of her wards of the unicorns to be killed on her watch. I think that she is kind of that protective mama bear kind of person. So
why is she so scared of the lady? She seems more scared of the lady than most people. Where does that come from?
I think partly because of having the commune and realizing early on who she is, and then not understanding all of the intrigue of what this could mean. And then, she wasn't really aware of a whole lot. And then Elena got expelled or whatever happened to her. And so she got drug into that to try and restore that. And then there is a time when Boomba had true sight, and he looked on her and he got hurt, and she was like, holy cow, this isn't okay. So I think she sees that there's the potential for harm, whether or not it's intentional harm or not. I think it's just this not understanding why somebody would just expel somebody or hurt somebody who really didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, crap. Bashing my mic. Is there anyone in the Horde that Naia is, apart from the obvious Artur, Helga, and I guess Zinkela, is there anyone that Naia is particularly connected to or particularly likes?
Well, Jobin, we don't.
Jobin, obviously.
Jeremy's a little bit quieter in the chatting, but they have their history together, and all their missions have been together. She really likes Wassitum. Like, it's really hard for her to not pick him up and just hug him all the time. And I would say she's quite fond of Brew. I think she really likes the little Samson squirrels, and Brew's whole persona is kind of wholesome and cool. I think she likes most everybody. There's some she doesn't quite understand as well, but I think she likes most everybody.
That was going to be my next question. If there's is there anyone that she's not so sure about? I can't imagine Naia actively disliking anyone, but someone where she's a bit like, don't know about you.
Yeah, not in a nefarious way. Not in a nefarious way. I think there's people that she really wants to try to fix, but knows that she can't, and that's probably frustrating. But no, I don't think that she really dislikes anybody in the group.
Okay. She's so wholesome. I love her. Do you have a favorite moment so far in this experience? Like a thing that really stands out to you as being particularly wonderful?
So I was talking to Jeremy. So in the last game, the Cloud Giant thing was really fun. I think she enjoyed that whole mission quite well. Prior missions to that, all of these little times where she's gotten these stupid little spoons, I think are exciting to her.
Love the
that
spoons.
was just it's such a random thing, and I think that they're so tacky in real life, but
I think you might start getting them. I'm just saying.
right. But Naia likes to collect shiny things, and so so she got her first. Yep. So she got her first one on the where we went to that crashed airship and that land with the giant. And I think walking through all the tall grass and actually feeling small for once was probably an exciting experience. And then otherwise, I think, the times that she's been able to commune, I think have been very powerful for her to see her God. And even though it's kind of drug her into some of these things. And then the first time she was able to summon her celestial unicorn, I think was probably really quite thrilling as well. So yeah.
It's fun to get to do that stuff. Like I tend to DM gods as being quite close because I think it's more interesting for clerics if they have that direct connection. But it's fun to be able to create those moments where it's like, this is how this looks to you.
Yeah, well, and it's just so spot on. Like, I don't think she's like a go worship in a church kind of holy person. No. She's very much about nature and basically created a pagan stone circle, which is where she spends a lot of her time, and honoring nature.
It's really fitting because stone circles have a big connection to like Fae folklore, so it works really well.
Right. So, so how you created the unicorn and with her 2 interactions with that, and then with her Luru talking to Helga and her dream too, that was really special to me. So thank you, because it was just fun for me. It was really beautiful. Yeah.
The whole Helga thing, just my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I tried to make Jeremy pick a favorite mission, and he gave me 3. So we'll see how you do. If you had to pick one favorite mission out of the missions that you have been on, which one would you pick?
So they tend to blur.
Yeah, I feel that.
I think
it's a difficult question.
Okay, I'll give you 2. So the first one that for me as a player, I actually was able to let go and relax a little bit more was when we went to go get Kobar, the fire giant, because I had to figure out how to stall because I was the only one who could talk to him.
Yep.
And so then like Naia became the lady who talked to the computer, basically trying to work this deal with Elena.
Yep.
So for me as a player, it was the first time that I was, and then it was her first time she got to fly and she got lightning breath. So like those were some pretty epic things. And I relaxed a lot more during that one. But the Cloud Giant mission, I think, was just a lot of fun. It was kind of madcap mayhem. She got a spoon. She made a friend in that Turador giant, and we got the goose. And so, yeah. And it was also the first mission where she wasn't as bent on healing people all the time, that she actually had a shift in her strategy to do more assertive things. And then save like the big heal for when Ramp went down. Because just learning that you can't heal people little bits at a time, like, you have to. So I think for her, that was that was like a big shift in how to play too.
That's cool. I'm so glad people loved that mission because I had so much fun creating it.
It was really fun. Really fun. Like you have these people who have this huge casino and yet they couldn't change out the chairs so nobody could sit. And like, it just, I don't know, it was fun.
Is there anything you have coming up in your future missions that you're particularly looking forward to?
Well, I'm excited for the Unicorn Gate one just because it's called Unicorn Gate. I feel like that one is kind of up her alley. And then Jobin and Jeremy and I decided to back out of the Kraken mission just because even this is my own silly ethics bleeding into fantasy, but capturing creatures is not quite my favorite thing.
Yep.
But you have
one on there. That's an old mission. It's really interesting because all the other capture the creature missions are like long gone, but that one's been sitting around because it's so high level and it's from ages ago. But
yeah. So thankfully 2 others stepped in to take our spots. And so I'm quite excited. We signed up for this one where we go to save people from a necromancer. So I'm picturing going into like the scientist's workroom in the Dark Crystal, and we're going to save all the creatures from this terrible person. And I feel like that was much more, at least Naia's jam, to try and go rescue as opposed to steal. Because we had that moment at the Stone Circle where people came back from their mission after having attacked all the forest creatures, and they were pretty sad about it. And so Naia came up with a memorial service, basically. But she had her own private one ahead in the garden where she buried her own little effigies in the garden to try and deal with what she had done. So I feel like going and saving people is much more her thing.
There's definitely been a shift. It's interesting because I didn't build the lady expecting her to have character development, and yet here we are with character development. Which I guess just goes to show that even when you're an all-powerful fae creature, the people around you influence who you become.
Right. So
no, go ahead.
Oh, and I'm excited to do Helga's, because Helga's going to go and try and help
Sarah get her mom back.
So nervous that, I don't see how many hit points she has and stuff like that. I'm nervous about that part because I think a badger is going to be pretty squishy, but I'm excited to play somebody other than Naia that I care about, and see how she does.
That'll be interesting. I'm quite excited about that one too.
Yeah.
Is there anything we have not done that you would like to see in future?
That we have not done?
Yeah, anything that I haven't thought of.
No, I mean, other people have been asking, like, for their own, like, go rescue Harper's family. And, I mean, if there's a chance to go get this tiefling, that could be satisfying. Because then, like, I could kind of finish her story. But other than that, I'm kind of just curious more to see what happens and if we're going to have, like, some big fae war, kind of the culmination. Because you had mentioned in the beginning, I kind of had mentioned in the beginning that it would be sort of like a big battle off kind of a thing, which she wouldn't do. I don't think she would ever go and fight people and stuff like that.
That was we were talking about what to do when we hit level 20, and that was like maybe we could do a like battle royale where the first 6 level 20s. But I think since then the story has changed so much that I've thrown that up. And I have another thing up my sleeve, which you will find out about. That's why if you look in the Discord, there's one that says level 20 mission top secret.
Yes. Jeremy and I were talking about that.
So I have a scheme up my sleeve, but you're going to have to wait until 6 of you hit 20 before we can.
Otherwise, she's just along for the ride and happy to help people as she can, and had some growth. She's learning that she needs to not just step in and do stuff like, trying to just fix things for other people and stuff, because that's instinctively what she would want to do, but she's trying to let people have their own lives.
She's such a delightful character, honestly. She just she's so sweet and lovely. Is there anything about her or Helga, I guess, that you would like people to know that we don't already know? I feel like Naia probably doesn't have a lot of secrets apart from her devotion to Tusk Love, which she has recently discovered.
That's been funny. I mean, that's just been funny. I think she's a little bit terrified to meet Tori's mom when they go to Icewind Dale. So that whole thing is like, holy crap.
Meet the parents.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I don't think she has really any secrets, and I mean, she's really enjoyed seeing all these different places that she's been able to travel to. She's been picking up little tuning forks so that when she's in retirement, she can go visit people and see different things and that kind of a thing. So yeah, I no real intrigue or mystery, I don't think, from Naia. She is pretty transparent person.
What about Helga? Helga's brand new to this whole sentient thing.
Yeah. So like Sarah's been being played a lot as just like a child. And I don't know that Helga, yes, she might be new to like sentient emotions and stuff, but I mean, as a firbolg, Naia can talk to Helga and Helga can understand her, and they've been together for a long time. So I don't think that she's coming into this without having some emotional awareness and emotional intelligence, I guess. I mean, I think she's fiercely loyal to Naia. If she had to choose between Artur and Naia, that would be hard. She likes him quite a lot. And I'm assuming she's a very benevolent badger, but her much more quick-tempered individual than like the whole thing with Sarah. Probably Helga did overreact, but I think that again, she's a badger. I don't think that they are cool-headed beings. So I think she has things that she needs to figure out because she's so fresh. And she was also awakened for a little while before Sarah was.
I think she also, like you say, she had more experiences as a badger than Sarah had when she was brought to the lady's place.
Yeah. So I think the choices for Sarah, I think, are very appropriate. And, I think Helga's probably a little bit, maybe like the preteen hanging out with a younger kid or something like that. So I'm curious to see. Maybe if Naia does finish, then maybe Helga will continue on in the Horde
He'll just stop playing Helga.
As the cleric. That would be pretty wild. So we'll have to see how they do. It is hard, like when you're trying to type out stuff, like to do one person and then the other person. But I think Helga just genuinely is going to be. I mean, her role model has been somebody who's always kind of put everything on their end on the line to help others. So I think Helga would follow suit,
just with a bit more of a fiery temper.
Yeah.
Although Naia has her moments. She told the lady off. She's like the only person who's ever done that.
Yeah, and that's probably part of the reason why she's afraid. And then she was kind of nasty. The lady was
impressed more than offended.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, you really care about your compatriots. That's very useful to me."
Yeah. And and she was kind of nasty to Hela, but she apologized to that and then gave Hela a copy of Tusk Love as well before realizing exactly what Tusk Love was. So that's interesting for a makeup gift.
I can't wait to see how Hela reacts when she gets around to reading it.
Right. So, but that was a sweet moment too when she hugged Hela and.
Oh my god, that thing about "you're so warm" just cracked me up.
Yeah.
I was like, and then she mentioned it to someone else. I think she was like, "Have you hugged Naia? She's really warm."
Yeah. So, and then Naia almost tried to hug the lady today, and then was like, "Holy cow, what am I doing?" And then was gonna just kidding, bye, So
that would be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if she'd like burst into flames if she touched her, so I figured it was maybe not a good idea to do that. So, but it was cool that the lady came down to the party too. When we had that party that night and everybody made an appearance. That was cool. So letting her down a little.
She's definitely also growing, which is interesting and unexpected for me because I thought she would just be like, "Yeah, do the job. Okay. Yeah, do the next job. Okay." But no, she's like developed a whole lore and goals and stuff of her own, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
People ask me questions and I'm like, shit. I guess that.
Yeah.
I'll make something up quickly.
Keep you on your toes.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I had for you today. So your next game as we record this is The Demon's Bathhouse.
Yes.
Which is this coming weekend. And that will get you to 15 or dead.
Yes. In which case Helga will come on to play quicker.
Helga will, we'll have to level up to 5 so she can be a member of the Horde. But yeah, we will be airing this after that, before your next game. So by the time anyone else watches this, we will know Naia's fate. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for being part of this and for being such a complete joy in the Horde. And because honestly, I think a lot of what it has become has been very much influenced by Naia and who she is. So that's super cool. And I'm very grateful for your
I'm grateful to be
investment in it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I feel like, after, 42, right? And so it's been all school, all work, everything. So I finally feel like I got my creativity back. So thank you for that.
Oh, I'm glad.
So, I mean, I know I've said that before in writing and stuff, but it really is true. Like this has just been so much more fun than I ever thought it could be. So, and I don't know. I like Naia a lot. I think
she's delightful.
Yeah. She's Shanti in the Novatus game represents what I would want in terms of confidence and wisdom and experience and things like that. But Naia is very much what I would want to be in terms of the other stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm glad people like her.
I think she is very beloved.
Yeah. And my little
right.
prop Helga. So yeah.
Yeah, who turned into a character of her very own.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time today and for being part of this crazy thing. We obviously love you and love Naia very much. And everybody watching, thank you for watching, and thank you for being also part of this community that has happened. It is amazing to me. Keep yourselves safe and sane, and stay awesome, and have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.